Jumper also were buying the idea of immediate independence. And the constitution was certified for independent constitution. And then the date that was taken was 18th February 1965.
In other words, the Gambia's Independence Act was enacted on the 22nd of July 1964.
Yeah.
Gambia became independent on 18 February 1965, preparations to the independence.
Yeah, because even at that time, the British were skeptical of the independence of the Gambia.
Whether we will survive it.
Yeah, that's why the government of Britain personally asked the Gambia to have an association with Senegal. And they did not stop there. They encouraged the United Nations to form a commission to look at the viability of Gambia as an independent nation. The four-man commission that the United Nations instituted also came up with a recommendation that Gambia should have an affiliation with Senegal. But the politicians then wanted to have their own way. That, of course, we share the same boundary, we share the same cultural and social identity, but we cannot be submerged together as one. So there were somebody, an author, who said that no, he cannot just understand how Gambia will make it as an independent nation, because it is sandwiched like a snake that is meandering into Senegal, and the size is so much ugly that he cannot imagine that they will survive for long. But the Gambians then will have the determination that we will make it. That's why the civil servants then, they did very well in taking the lead in doing whatever they, because let us say the technological advancement today and their time is different. They have to do everything through manual, and they have that at the back of their mind. That's why this song that they said, Lige Jodna Gambia Amna Bopam, in 1965, was just like a ringing bell at the back ear of Gambians. Always, Gambia Amna Bopam, what are we going to do? We have to work hard in order to put all detractors into shame. And this was what they did in 1965.
1965, prior to that, just to remind people that on the 17th of February, the Union Jack came down and the red, white, blue, white, green of the Gambia was hoisted. What used to be known as Clifton Road became Independence Drive for the first time. And of course, Sadauda Karabai Jawara became the country's first prime minister. Apart from that, Gambia was able to tell its detractors or the skeptics that you said we were not going to be able to make it as an independent nation, but here we are. A budget that was a budget of 1 million was realized at the end of the first fiscal year. Yeah. So we must say thank you to the founding fathers as well.
Exactly. And also, I would like to remind the listeners of this national anthem. The national anthem was because the anthem that was there was the British anthem, that is God Save the Queen. So there was a competition where people were invited to participate, and this colonial officer, the wife Virginia Howe, was the one who wrote it in the crude form. So the Further Gambia our homeland, that is in its crude form, but how to put it into melody was done by Jalnyama Suso by using the tune of Fode Kaba Dumbia. That's Fode Kaba, Kafirolu Tubi Tema Fode Kaba. And then this was the tune that they also used, Further Gambia our homeland. So, and the author was paid $50,000 pounds, 50,000 pounds then. So it became the property of the peoples of the Gambia.
Virginia Howe was the wife of J.F. Howe.
Yeah, J.F. Howe.
Yes.
So
yes.
Now people will think that it was the administrator himself, but it was the wife.
The wife.
It's only that the husband overshadowed the name of the wife. Yeah.
And then the national colors, well, my chairman, the chairman of the board of directors for GRTS, he used to be my chairman anyway, Master Tomasi, the father, Mr. Louis Tomasi, was the one who designed the national flag, the red, white, blue, and green, giving its the colors its denominations. And of course, there was the coat of arms. Mr. Potin. Very well. In other words, the Gambians were awake. They were really going ahead, and this is our country.
They have the determination. They have, despite the UN itself saying that we will not be able to make it because the Commission, that was their recommendation, that we should have an affiliation with Senegal at least in order to stand on our own as a viable people. Because without it, they have not seen any economic support for the Gambia to make it as a sovereign state.
Our principal produce from an agricultural perspective was only groundnuts. But we were able to, at that time, are very good. The price of groundnuts then was all right. The world wasn't so polarized as it is now. But then groundnut was the principal produce. But then we were able to forge ahead. Now, 25 years after, Gambia celebrated its Silver Jubilee. If you were going to bring a yardstick, how would you measure Gambia from 1965 to the celebration of the Silver Jubilee?
Well, Gambia has moved from the first step of political emancipation because the Gambians were able to man all the key positions. Remember, there were British officials in almost all key positions in government administrative apparatus. So from 1965, Gambia was able to fill up those positions with Gambians, qualified Gambians for that matter. So therefore, there was an upward movement in that regard, because almost all the key positions, from the judiciary to medicine to other government functionaries, were all manned by Gambian officials. And then by 1965, even institutions, some of the institutions, you have colonial officers manning those institutions. And gradually those institutions were taken up by qualified Gambians.
By the way, I forgot to mention our Republican status, which was on the 24th of April, 1970. Yes, when Gambia became a republic.
Yeah, but we have to remind ourselves that the first push was done in 1966 when the then government wanted to have it at that time. 1965 independence, 1966 Republican status. But the people said no. It's very early, it's premature. So, but by 1970, I think the awareness of people was wider at that time that we should have our republic, so that because at that time